But that was not anything compared with the first couple of days, because the first day I went for a walk. Ipanema Beach is famous for just the beautiful, beautiful people that gather there. There's so many beautiful women in Rio, it made me angry. I was angry that these women were so attractive and that, you know, none of them were even looking at me. So, but anyway, I'm on the beach because I was shopping and I needed a wee. Right, and we went for a quick impromptu swim, and I thought, oh, we in the sea.
Just think of him on this beach, right, with diarrhea.
Well, I'm wearing great big long shorts because I'm not going to try and compete with these boys because they
And you are, could I say this, the whitest man I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, with his shirt off, you can see his heart like a newborn fish.
Well, this is the thing. As I went into the sea to have a wee, there was a discussion about this.
As I went into the sea to have a wee in a litter tray.
See, there was a discussion about this because I'm very much of the opinion that you should take your trunks down, and some people, some of my friends are saying, just do it in your trunks and let the sea just wash it away.
What a hell of a carnival!
And I think I'm against that. I've always been against that in swimming pools, everything, you know.
I'm against pissing in swimming pools. Full stop. It doesn't matter whether you do get in, take your trunks down, or don't piss in a swimming pool.
Sea?
Yeah, well, fine. Yeah,
fine, okay, right.
Fish do it.
So anyway, I'm in the sea trying to urinate, and I kneeled because I'm obviously very tall, so it's tricky to get deep enough for the water to mask what you're up to. So I tried to kneel down in the water, right, and I got John Thomas out, but then the water swept out again and just left me on the beach. But luckily my back was to everyone, so no one saw. I
can't think of a funnier sight than Steve Merchant on his knees with his little John Thomas out. I don't know how big it is. I've never seen it. But I imagine it's in proportion to the rest of it, is it?
I wish. That's all I'll say is I've been a little shortchanged. But so then I got up and I waded a bit deeper in, right? And now I was trying. I got it out. But what I didn't realise is that the waves just off the beach are really just uncontrollable. You never know what's going to happen. So suddenly, I see this giant wave coming towards me, crashing towards me, and I got the cock out and everything, and it grabs this wave, comes over me, and lifts me up, flips me up in the water, right? And I'm floundering around. I can't see anything because, of course, I had to take my glasses off to go in the sea because I didn't want to lose them.
Oh God!
So I'm floundering around, and I'm genuinely getting scared because as I try to get into shore, the wave just pulls me back again. So I'm waving to my friends on the beach. But
with everything.
Well, what I don't realise is that because I'm not wearing my glasses, I don't realise that I've been dragged along the beach some way, and I'm not actually waving to my friends. So there's like a bunch of these beautiful women on Ipanema Beach watching a pasty white man waving with his cock out. And what annoyed me was my friends were laughing, and that really angers me.
If I'd have been there, I would have burst.
But why wouldn't you have come running? Would you have come running in to help me?
Oh, I couldn't have saved you with your glasses off and your knob out. If I ever save you, I want you to be fully dressed with your glasses on.
So you'd have just let me go. That would have been what you'd said to my parents. He had his knob out and his glasses off. There was no way I was going to...
I can't think of a funnier sight. Oh. Carl, I've got a couple of little facts for you, just to try and inflame your imagination.
Go on.
Sharks are immune to cancer.
Really?
Yeah.
So how have they found that out?
Well, I don't know, but
I've never heard of any fish having cancer though. I haven't heard of a cod being ill. So why are we focusing on that one?
Good point. Okay. Stroking a spider can cause its hair to fall out.
What? Because it doesn't like it and it gets stressed out, or is it just that some people are rubbing too hard?
No, I don't think it's they're rubbing too hard. I think it's something to do with it. I mean, what sort of maniac is stroking a spider anyway?
My mum did it once.
Really?
Yeah, not to a spider.
Right.
It was just a little bee. She'd been out, sunny day and that. Got the washing off the washing line. She was bringing it in. Little bee sat on the top of like the bed sheet or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And she's in the kitchen with it, and she goes, "Look at that little bee there." She started sort of stroking its head. It loved it.
How did it make it clear that it loved it?
Well, it wasn't struggling. It was just sat there like, because it must have been like a bit dozy. They get a bit dozy, don't they, in the heat and that. And he just stayed there on the sheet, and she sort of stroked its head for a bit, and she had to put it out. It didn't go out. It didn't try and escape. It was like, you've had enough now. That was that. She sent it out. She loved all that. She loved little flies and stuff. And we had Harry the housefly.
What?
Harry the housefly.
What do you mean?
It's just a fly that always seems to knock about in one corner of the room.
Right, it's the same fly, was it?
Yeah, it was the same fly. Yeah.
How do you know it was the same fly? So whenever she saw a fly, she went, "Oh, look, it's back."
Well, we weren't letting him in. It's just that it stayed in.
Carl, what makes you think it was a pet housefly as opposed to a different fly every day?
Because it was always in the same place in the corner.
But it could have been that something about that particular place that attracted flies rather than it was the same fly.
Well, I'm never worried about it. It wasn't harming us. It just always hung about.
But how do you know it was the same fly? How do you
I don't
recognise
know.
it?
We weren't worried about it. It doesn't matter, does it? If like we're thinking another fly's getting a bit of free rent or something, just let it stay. I don't understand why.
But why? No. Right, okay. You're in a house, right? There's flies, okay?
Not flies, fly.
Why do you think it was the same fly for all those years?
Just because we haven't got loads of other flies. At no point was there a crossover period where there's two, and it's like, hang on a minute, he's trying it on here. That's what I mean. It was always just one on its own. And we just thought, leave it, it's all right. I don't know why are you suspicious? Why you always think someone's out to do you?
No, I don't know why you assumed when you see a fly every now and again that it's exactly the same fly.
It
In
just
fact,
was.
that it's Harry.
The one in our house was the same one.
How do you know?
Well, all right, I don't, but at no point did I feel suspicious. Speaking of flies, though, and that, they've got one, right? I was out with Ricky, right, and he was reading the paper. There was a story there about a fly that its eyesight was bad or something, and they'd made it a pair of glasses, and it had a picture of a housefly wearing.
Okay, this is incredible, Steve. Can I take over?
Hang on, let me just need to finish a couple of questions for that. So there's a small fly, and they've made it a pair of glasses,
Yeah.
so that it can see better.
Yeah.
And your concern is what?
Well, again, it's just that thing of we're looking after everything now, aren't we?
Sorry, I've got to come in here, Steve.
All right.
I showed you
You
the
saw
story.
it, you saw
It was
it.
a picture of a housefly
Fly,
with a pair of glasses
glasses
right?
on, yeah.
Right. It was about a one-sentence thing. It was about how far technology's come,
Yeah,
and
and
a
we're
group
helping
of
flies
scientists
out.
using microscopy, right, and laser tools had, as an exhibition, shown that they could make a pair of glasses smaller to fit on a house. They put it on there and they'd taken a picture of it, and it's on display. At no point was it actually, because the fly had bad eyesight, the fly was presumably dead, it was purely an art installation or a show of technology.
I thought you were going to say, Rick, that you'd drawn the glasses on there,
Yeah.
and he believed it. Like, there's a bearded lady in this paper. No. My God, Tony Blair looks like Adolf Hitler. No.
What do you think of that, though?
But they did
Well,
it as an
flies out.
experiment.
Yeah, but all things start as an
But
experiment.
why would they make a pair of glasses for a fly?
How would they know he had a bad eyesight?
How would they know it was the same fly?
bumping into stuff? I don't know.
Bumping into stuff.
It's just that thing, innit, of human nature is something's wrong with something, let's fix it. And they try and help people out all the time, don't they? When you know, we're always doing it. We're always trying to help people out instead of just going, you've been dealt a duff card, cope with it. Came up with a good idea.
We'll be the judge of that.
I'll do it now. It's not a good idea.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sticking my neck out here. I think this isn't going to be a good idea.
Okay.
Thoughts?
Well, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to second that motion.
Okay, let's see. Let's see if we're both right.
See-through skin.
High five, Rick.
We've had a few emails about the old shows. People came into them late in the season.
Did I not tell you this? We had an email from an Inuit.
Really?
Yeah. I thought I'd mentioned this. Have we not mentioned this before?
No.
No, it was an email from a guy who said, I don't think he lives in Canada, I think, or somewhere else. I apologise if I'm getting that wrong. But I think he said he was half Inuit, and he listens to the show.
Half Inuit? See, that's interesting because I think it was so remote. I know I'm probably wrong now, but I think that those are so remote that I can't think where they're meeting people who aren't
that aren't also
Inuit.
Inuit. Yeah.
Oh, and who's going, you know, other societies are going, I'll tell you what, I'm fed up, there's no action here, I'm going to the frozen tundra, I'm bound to meet someone there.
Yeah.
Where do they meet? Do they do online dating? What
Probably a lot of online stuff.
what do you put as hobbies? Fishing?
Yeah. Skinning stuff.
Skinning stuff, yeah. What stuff to skin?
You know, seals.
Seals, yeah, sure. That's about it, isn't it?
Why are they hanging about round there? Why aren't seals going, do you know what, it's cold, I'm sick of it here. It's windy all the time, what have you, and I'm getting a club on the head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're meant to be quite bright in terms of animals and that, aren't they?
Yeah.
So why are they knocking about them parts?
I don't know.
Say, like, if seals died out, right, would that be a problem?
We've done
We've
this.
been through this before, Carl.
Everything has a knock-on effect.
Even a seal, that's sort of in between something already. It's between a fish and a dog, innit?
I knew you were going to say dog.
It's not between a fish and a dog. What do you think evolution does? Fish
I'll
to
never
dog.
Understand it. Maybe we
What
shouldn't
do you
talk
mean
about it.
it's between a fish and a dog?
I'm just saying it's.
It was a perfectly evolved mammal that re-entered the water, I imagine, and then got streamlined and... I mean, it's between a fish and a dog.
But why not have one and the other? Why not have, like, you know, you've got a dog, you've got a fish.
No, it's
anything
not
in the
between a
middle,
fish and a dog. It's not between a fish and a dog. I don't know what between means. I don't know what...
This is it again about saving everything all the time. What is it doing? What's it doing? Everyone's feeling sorry for him all the time. Save the seal and all that. What's it doing? Why are we saving it? Let's just ask that question. What's it doing?
I don't know what to say. It's between a fish and a dog.
104.9 XFM. You alright? This is Carl, producer of Ricky Gervais and Steve Merchant. They're not about today. Ricky's on holiday. Steve couldn't be bothered. So I'm left here with all the DATs. That's a digital audio tape of all the shows they've done since they've been here over the last, I don't know, year and a half or something. So we'll play you some of the best bits. Alright, so here's the first bit.
I just wish we could maybe tape the bits we're not on air, just because that's when Carl comes into his own.
Yeah.
He just said to me, I don't know what I was doing, I was sort of like pottering around, dancing around, doing something annoying probably, and he just looked at me, I don't know, and he was looking at me, and I looked back, and he went, have you ever used a Y-front properly?
Genius.
It's a great question, because the answer is definitely no.
Definitely no.
Does anyone use their Y-front properly? And by that, I mean, get your winky out of the little sort of slot provided, as opposed to, like, put it to one side or pull them down or whatever. Has anyone used a Y-front properly?
I don't think I've ever done it.
I don't think I've ever done it.
I've never seen anyone in a toilet doing it, Rick.
You should be looking.
I wish I hadn't said that.
I caught ya. Really?
Yeah. That's actually how you prove people are gay.
Yeah.
Get them into this conversation.
Yeah. It's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap.
It was a trap.
Yeah. I'm not gay,
was
by the
the,
way.
Yeah.
You didn't prove I was gay, I double bluffed you. Because I knew the old gay trick.
I thought it was the old gay lord say no thing.
That is another method. Yeah, there's innumerable methods of doing it.
That's how Oscar Wilde was caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, the judge went to him, did you see that film last night? Gaylord Say No, and he went no, and they went take him away.
Yeah. Take him down to the cells.
Yeah, take him to Reading.
It is true.
Well,
it originated in America.
yeah.
So many of these things do. It's
Yeah.
a brilliant point, Carl. I'd like to hear from anyone listening who's, and I mean, well, they'll just lie, wouldn't they, I suppose?
Yeah, I don't even use sort of flies.
No?
Usually, I sort of pull my Y-front, my sort of tracksuit. So that's why I wear sort of like elasticated waistbands all the time.
Exactly.
Just sort
Speed.
of like, yeah,
You got to get in there with the minimum of effort.
yeah, we and out.
Sure.
Often I won't shake,
No, oh no.
to my detriment, because it often leaks out a little bit later, doesn't it?
Ever been out on a date with a girl where it's just trickled down your leg and you wish it hadn't, and you're thinking, what if she gets my trousers off later? She might smell or see it.
What? Like what?
I don't know. I don't know what I said there.
Right.
Rick, I had for Christmas something which I think might excite you and interest you, because I know you're obsessed and interested by facts.
Yeah.
Don't fiddle with the microphone.
Well, I
everyone
was
can
just
hear that.
looking at what it was underneath it.
So this is a book, it's just facts and trivia. It's edited by Sir Isaac Asimov, who I think's dead. So I don't know when my parents bought this book. I assume it's sort of from a second-hand shop or something.
Right.
It's quite long, but I got it for Christmas. I keep meaning to bring it in, because generally the facts are quite sensible in here. And I like to think if Isaac's been involved, they're probably substantiated. It's not like kind of just this nonsense on the web. I think that this is probably...
Or up in Greg's the Baker's that Carl gets most of his facts from.
The ancient Egyptians trained baboons to wait on tables. Carl, fascinated.
Brilliant.
That's fantastic.
But what my point about that is, why did they stop?
Yeah.
It's a genius idea. Would you not want to go to a restaurant where they had baboons serving?
No, I'll tell you what happened. It might have been like the Planet of the Apes, and they sort of rebelled. One of them could talk, one of them could take his order, and one day when it went, do you want fries with that? And the bloke got really annoyed and said answering back, and then there was some sort of rebellion.
Right.
The Planet of the Apes isn't true, is it?
It's not this is not a documentary.
Right, okay.
I wonder, because what I like the idea of having baboons is the fact that I reckon they're, like, I have difficulty, and I'm sure you do, Carl, like, working out that sort of 10%, you know, on a bill.
Yeah.
I reckon baboons would find that particularly hard. I reckon you could get away with under-tipping them all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not leaving enough and just legging it. Exactly.
They go away and you go, sucker.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd love to see some baboon restaurants. If there's any restaurateurs out there, so tell us or someone.
If you do go to a restaurant and you wait on us, please don't order the banana daiquiri, because it comes half-eaten. They can't help their little selves. They really can't. They're okay with, like, you know, beef and steak and chips and all that. But there's a little bag. I go, do you like...
Can you imagine that? The baboons serving at waiting tables. It's genius. Just stop to think about that. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely dynamite.
Yeah.
See, zoos would be a lot more popular if there was, like, the canteen and you could go...
If they were just serving tickets to two? Exactly. One child, well, okay, go through there.
I think they should do other things, like in the Flintstones, they used to mix cement in that bird's kind of...
Pelican, yeah.
We should start doing that again. Because that also happened in ancient times.
Yeah, exactly.
According to the Flintstones.
Yeah, before they had proper cement mixers, that's what they did.
That was how they did it.
Definitely, yeah.
Just animal facts. I remembered one in the week.
Go on.
There was, do you know them two gay American men who have tigers?
Okay, the two gay ones, yeah, go on.
Two possibly gay guys.
Yeah, let's not worry about libel law anymore then, or... Yeah,
if you shave a tiger's head...
Whoa. Right, okay. You've got to treat that sentence with a lot more reverence than you did. Think what you're saying. If you shave a tiger's head...
Not just his head, its whole body.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
So I thought you were getting weird. Go on then, yeah, if you shave a tiger, yeah, go on.
It's still stripy underneath. The skin's...
Is it like rock?
It goes all the way through. Yeah, that's amazing.
Where did you hear that one?
I remembered that. Like, I was
that a drunk just shouting it in the street?
I shaved a tiger and it's still stripy. Get out of here. Yeah. Well, you know a polar bear? Polar bear's skin is actually black, and its fur is transparent, not white, and it gives the illusion. So it gets all the radiation possible from the sun, but it's still camouflaged.
I didn't understand that, Rick. Sorry, you lost me. If its skin's black,
a polar bear's skin is black,
and its fur is translucent,
and its fur is translucent.
So why is it white when we?
Well, it's just because the light hits it and
the sun reflects off.
Yeah, and it makes it look white. Yeah, so if you look at each individual hair, it's actually translucent.
So at night it would be black.
Well, everything is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, not bright stuff, Rick. You embarrass yourself. Play a record.
XFM 104.9. Lovely, that one. Now, again, I broke the rules in the week. I met up with Carl. I had lunch with him. And we were chatting and having a cup of tea. And it got onto one of Carl's favourite programmes, was the Tales of the Unexpected.
Ah, of course.
And all I can think is that he's probably the only person in Britain where they were unexpected. I mean, to him, when that twist came in, he'd go, gee, I can't...
Yeah.
Oh, God. So it was the tree that did it. I mean, he was probably the only... And we were telling all these stories of horror, and he liked horror stories. And I told him this story, and I don't know if this will come across the way, but I told him this story. It was a short. It was a horror short.
This was a film you saw, was it?
Yeah. And what it was, it started off, just there'd been a car crash. You see this horrendous wreck, and you saw it from the point of view of the person in the car, and he was calling for his mate, and he was going, Dave... And he sort of looked over and saw a body without a head that had been thrown at you. He goes, oh no, Dave. And then into the field of view came Dave, his mate, and looked at him with a look of horror, and then it sort of went black and you realised that he was just a head. And it had been his body.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And I said, then it came up at the end, at the executions and the French Revolution, people experience consciousness for, and he went, oh, No, he said, it wouldn't be for that long. And then he went, if it was a chicken, it would work. Imagine remaking that film, but it's two chickens in horrendous car crash.
Their own fault for driving.
It would work. No, he wasn't having that.
Yeah.
No, it was too long. I think he said, how long was this film? Went, about 5 minutes. He went, no. It would work if it was a chicken.
I like the way that Carl in something like when you relate an incident like that, he's appalled and offended and annoyed by the people that made it, even though he's never seen it.
Oh, he's annoyed, yeah.
Do you have a favourite Tales of the Unexpected, one that you remember particularly that shook you up?
Yeah, we were talking about the one on where there's some woman in prison. Have you seen that one?
I can't remember them all.
Right. This woman's in prison.
Yeah.
And she gets a bit friendly with the guy who takes the dead bodies out.
Right.
And he said, I can get you out of here. He said, what you've got to do, right? You've got to, I don't know, at midnight.
When you hear the bell toll, that means there's been a dead body.
Yeah, there's been a dead body. So what you've got to do is go into like the place where all the dead bodies are. Get in the first coffin on the right, and then I'll come along and carry you out, and you can run away and escape.
Yeah.
Right. So she goes, yeah, all right then. So she hears the bell go.
I'll bury you, right? And then I'll come back later and dig you up.
Right.
Yeah, but
that's the point.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. Trust me, Carl, it really matters.
okay.
Listen, I don't know if I'm going to ruin this for people at home.
Yeah.
Can I just skip to the end? I would imagine that she gets buried and he doesn't come back, and she has to get buried alive.
Better than that. So she gets in the coffin, and she's lying there for ages.
She's buried.
She can feel a bit of movement going on, so she's obviously, being carried somewhere, so she's thinking, this is it, I'm getting out. And then she's lying there for ages and thinking, why isn't someone coming and lifting the lid off this? Do you know what I mean? Letting me get out. So she's really bored. She gets a lighter out, right? Lights it to have a look at who she's lying on. It's only the fella who said he'd help escape.
Oh.
How bad is that?
That is... How bad is that?
So it is quite important that she's buried alive then, isn't it? In retrospect, you realise that the jeopardy is that she's buried alive and can't get out.
Yeah.
It makes it so much worse, doesn't it, than just like lying in the morgue and going, actually, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
This isn't going to work.
Look at Carl's face, having told that, he's so pleased. His face is lit up, he's beaming like a child.
Have you seen any?
Is that your favourite horror thing ever?
What was that one you told me about with the porn? That was a good one.
Oh, this was fantastic, right? Right. There was this,
Sorry, can I just check now? We're just remembering classic episodes of the Tales of the Unexpected,
this is important. Well, I saw one, right? I saw one, on Tales of the Unexpected, right? And it was, these two gents, what they used to do, they look down the obituaries and they'd blackmail the wife or the son of a dead eminent person, like it might be a priest or a doctor, something like that, and they'd go and they'd say, he bought some erotic stuff from us before he died, and he owes 100 guineas and all this sort of stuff, and they'd pay up because it'd be so embarrassing. They just didn't want this, so they'd just pay him, right? And this one bloke said, who are these people? I'll meet with them. And he goes round there, and he goes round, and they go, your father, he goes, my father could not have bought any erotic material from you. They did it, he goes, he couldn't have, he's blind. Right, and that was the twist. And Carl went, so it was magazines, not videos then.
Rick,
Right, go on.
what else is dying out? Pipes.
Pipes.
You never see people smoking pipes.
Why
Young
don't
people
you?
now not smoking pipes.
No.
You see old people, you're right, but kids, you've got to start taking up pipes, otherwise they're going to die out, because people of the older generation, they're going to die soon. I'm not smoking a pipe. I should
With
be.
pipes, though, was it like the fashion where when you smoked, you started, at a young age and then carried on, or did you just start at 50?
But no, because if you see like sort of shots of kind of sort of professorial types from the 1930s at when they're at Oxbridge, they're always smoking pipes in a tweed jacket.
Yeah,
that was when they started, like university.
Yeah, but they still do. There's lots of things that should die out in the rest of the world carry on in Oxbridge colleges.
Yeah, but my point is
voters.
All right. All I'm saying is that they're not even in Oxbridge now. They're not even smoking pipes.
I bet there is.
There's no one smoking pipes.
I bet there is.
Right, I'd like to know if there's anyone listening who's under the age of 30 that smokes a pipe regularly, and I don't mean like a crack pipe.
And I guarantee they went to Oxford or Cambridge.
Okay, what's the number?
08700 800 1234.
What's the email?
ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
Pipes are dying out.
Yeah.
Snuff, that's as good as gone.
Yeah.
Snuff.
Yeah, trilbies.
My friend always said if he won like loads of money on the lottery, he'd like to try really hard to try and bring back, as a fashion accessory, the cape.
See,
because the capes are classy.
I quite like the cape.
The cape's brilliant because you can kind of mask your face with it.
Yeah.
Dracula-like.
You can have it off but still on, and on but still off. It's not like a coat. You know what I mean? Where you drape it over your shoulders and that can fall down.
Carl, you're not a fan of the cape. You're turning your nose up at the cape. That's a madness.
No pockets.
Good point. You could have some kind of inner sort of smuggler's
If
pocket,
they did that, I'd buy one.
poacher's pocket. if they did that, I'd buy one.
Well, I'll tell you what. That sounds good. That sounds good. It's just gone half-assed. It's the new
I
feature.
can't believe
that
it.
sounds good.
For a minute there, I was completely lost.
Yeah.
Remind me again. What's that sounds
Wow.
good?
I
thought, no, hang on. It's that film sounds good.
Oh yeah, that film sounds good. Right, this is my famous film review, which I've got coming up. Look forward to that. It's brilliant.
Yes.
It's quite a delicate subject, but I think I deal with it sensitively.
Brilliant. Okay.
This is that film sounds good.
Right.
And I've taken.
Remind us again what that is. What this feature is.
I'm going to pick a song from a film.
Okay.
That's on from the soundtrack. Right.
Yes.
I'm choosing a song from Jackie Brown.
Okay.
Great film.
Yeah, brilliant film.
And this is Across 110th Street by Bobby Womack. It's fantastic.
Wonderful song.
You'll only like this if you're really cool.
Yeah, if you're really cool, like say us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Bobby Womack, Across 110th Street. It's great, isn't it?
That's a lovely feature.
And
actually.
that's the first feature. Ooh, that film sounds good.
Brilliant.
Yeah?
Brilliant, yeah. That's
I'm
excellent.
thinking of actually bringing out maybe a compilation of
I'd love to hear it.
Song for the Lovers.
What
Maybe.
sort of things can we hear? Can we expect in the future? Because I know you're a big fan. This is brilliant. He bought the soundtrack to the film Braveheart, which is just kind of let me just explain. Which is just kind of big orchestrated numbers, right?
James
and
Horner.
as far as he's concerned, that's classical music. He's got a classical music CD in his collection. It's the music from Braveheart.
Oh, I sit there and I think, yeah, mate, I'd probably sort of lead my people's.
Yeah.
You know.
He's obsessed with Braveheart. He actually sort of relates to William Wallace. He actually thinks, yeah, that's the sort of thing I'd be doing.
Yeah. It is. No.
What was it you were working out to the other day as well? He's got like a personal like gymnast or whatever it is. What's it called? Is it a gym expert? A trainer? You've got a personal.
I box with this bloke.
Yeah, he goes boxing in like some underpass somewhere. Right? Every day. Like, like every single day,
every day.
he goes boxing, right? And what was it you were training? What did you tell me you were training to this week?
God.
What music did you have on?
Oh my God. I have actually. Now I never did this, but I have actually gone red, haven't I?
Yes.
Right.
It's very hard to embarrass.
I was working out and training and boxing. Oh my God. You're gonna have to play a record after this. To the Rocky soundtrack.
To the Rocky soundtrack. He's bought, a CD which has got the best music from all of them. Now, was it Eye of the Tiger, or was it...
It starts off with Eye of the Tiger, then it goes, Hearts on Fire. That's me sort of right off my... Then it goes, dun 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 dun.
Does any of your training with your trainer, does it ever involve you running through snow with a log chained to your back, like in Rocky
and helping,
IV?
I often have to help Russian peasants because their cart horse is like falling over, but I lift it up. Whereas the other fella, he's training in a posh gym having injections. I'm not. I'm just like breaking rocks and punching dead cows.
Where'd you get that from?
It's handy, wasn't it?
Put it on.
What is it?
That's the
He can't hear because he's got. Put your headphones on.
What was it?
You'll love it. You'll love it.
Yeah.
That's magnificent.
Yeah.
That's now Ricky Gervais's theme tune.
Yeah.
Every time we start the show, we should just start with that.
Win, Ricky, win. You two, Walk On. I've got to give it to them. I hated you two for about 15 years.
You've said
Like
it
the
before,
early
Rick,
stuff.
you've said it
I
before.
know, but I love that one now. I just love that album. They can't put a foot wrong.
Do you
now.
ever listen to the whole album? Because I know you tend to buy albums just for the singles, when you could, of course, just buy the singles.
I know where he's going. I bought light funky ones.
Oh, I wanted to say that.
Yeah, I bought light funky ones because
The light, funky ones. Do you remember the light funky ones? That was about like a year ago. What did they do? They did Girl in a Green Dress, a girl on TV.
And Abercrombie.
That one that goes, yeah, summertime Abercrombie and Fitch. The girls are wearing up. Do you remember that? It's like a light sort of summer
Listen,
nonsense.
I've got a lot of money. It's nothing to me, okay?
The light
I
funky
want a
ones.
bit of light funky ones once. That's 15 quid. It's nothing to me.
You put the two singles on, right? Never listen to the rest of the album.
I never listened to the two singles again either.
The light funky ones.
Oh, it's just my street cred's gone down it. Rocky soundtrack and the light funky ones. You'd make two mistakes.
Right, let's not forget Braveheart, the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, it's a good film.
Rick, we were talking earlier about stuff.
True story
that's,
about a little Australian freed the Scottish.
the stuff that's dying out that I think you and I single-handedly need to kind of resurrect and salvage. I thought the trilby was dying out.
Yeah.
I'll surprise
I
you, and
thought
yet,
so as well,
watching
yeah.
Top of the Pops last night,
Yeah.
Jamiroquai was wearing one, and then lo and behold, Danny Minogue came on, she had one as well. I thought, blimey, there's two people there trying to salvage the trilby, and good luck to
Really?
them.
Well,
Yeah.
that's on its way then. Let them
The
do
trilby's
that.
fine.
Let's do something else.
But the bowler hat,
the bowler hat.
never
See,
see the
I've always
bowler.
fancied myself in a bowler
I love
hat.
a bowler hat. Carl, would you wear a bowler hat? I know you'd wear the cape.
I did wear a trilby.
You were really? You must have looked like a...
That's brilliant. What, because you're a Mancunian?
Well, there was a phase, wasn't there, in about 90... When was it?
I think that was just round your way.
It might have been. It was in Manchester.
Did someone get a job
Hang on.
lot of trilbies? And persuaded you kids? Yeah, I tell what's trendy. No, Sean Ryder wears one of these. Does he? Yeah, go on. Yeah, quid. And then everyone in your street had trilbies on.
But you've never worn a bowler?
Never.
What about Kangol bowler? You might
The
think
ad one
about
out again.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I would like to wear a bowler hat in a dark, but I'm worried I look like one of those little fellas off the Home Pride advert.
it. The Home Pride guys, they've been persevering with the bowler for years.
They still look good in it though,
They're
don't
still
they?
looking good. They're dapper guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the Jolly Green Giant. He had quite a distinctive look, which is obviously one I've been thinking of exploiting.
What the
Being about
little
6'7".
I know the little sort of like a little dress.
Was it Corncroft
Yeah.
that made up his little skirt?
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
the Jolly Green Giant so jolly about?
Probably.
He was very pleased. It can't have just been the sweet corn and the peas.
No, I reckon it was his enormous jolly green knob. I mean, he must have got up every day and gone, look at that. He must have been so happy.
The only thing that's like, in the case of the Jolly Green Giant, or like when Gulliver was a giant and he was in Lilliput and all the Lilliputians, they helped him out, they were feeding him and stuff.
Yeah.
If you're a giant like that in that
Yeah.
situation, how do you sort of have a little sneaky
Tug?
You know, a little tug, a little J. Arthur Rank.
I don't know, because it's like...
It's very tricky to
Because
do
you're
that
as big
secretly.
as their mountains, aren't you?
Exactly.
You can't hide. They go, oh, you know, I mean, there's no...
Well, yeah. All the little village probably just thought it was a tidal wave or something. Do you know what I mean?
That's pretty grim, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the tidal wave was pretty desperate.
I know.
It's how would he have gone to the mayor and said, I need a Kleenex the size of a tennis court
Yeah.
and a gigantic copy of the Daily Star.
You know,
Yeah.
I never understood with giants how they actually got that big in the first place, because what food was around to make them... Because not only were they, like, big, but they were muscly big.
They
Like,
did.
They ate well.
They ate whole cows, probably.
When,
Yeah, man,
Carl,
it's-
you
It's
know,
not well documented, Carl, is it?
you know they don't actually exist and never have.
Mm.
Okay.
Right, it's time for a feature, I think.
Oh, Carl, I've got. So there was a TV show I watched once on the History Channel. This is the History Channel.
Yeah.
It was the history of werewolves. Right, the history of werewolves, and the whole show is predicated on the fact that at the end we'll tell you if they ever existed or not.
Yeah. Just waiting. And I go, oh, come on, we're going to be late. Hold on, he's going to tell us if
Exactly.
they existed or not.
Carl, werewolves.
Michael Aspel was in it, and Michael Aspel is a top broadcaster and therefore would not associate himself with
gonna
something
let
that did
that
not
lie.
exist.
Under the covers time, gents.
Under the
Cover
covers,
me
run
up,
for
cover me
cover.
bad, run for cover. Here come the covers.
Yeah.
Covers. I
This-
like cover songs.
This is a cover version.
Yes, this is from an album which is a bit hit and miss, as these things often are. It's different artists covering the songs of Leonard Cohen. You've got the
yeah.
Pixies on there, R.E.M., Nick Cave, different people. This, bizarrely, is Lloyd Cole, not someone I'm normally a fan of, but doing
I
a
like
version,
Lloyd Cole.
doing a version of the fantastic Leonard Cohen song Chelsea
Oh,
Hotel.
it's
Play it, Carl. It's
fantastic.
beautiful. Lloyd Cole doing his version of Chelsea Hotel.
Under the covers.
Under the covers. I thought it was a beautiful version.
It's lovely.
You know that apparently
Really
I think
nice.
it's that song.
Very sweet.
Written by Leonard Cohen originally, and I think it's about his brief romance with Nico, who made a name, of course,
of
with
course,
the Velvet
Velvet
Underground,
Underground,
and was a
yeah.
tragic drugs victim. But it's interesting because I'm looking at this as a compilation called I'm Your Fan, which is cover songs of Leonard Cohen's music. And as I say, R.E.M., there's people on the Nick Cave who are still going. There's a couple of names you don't tend to hear of that often now. The House of Love.
Oh, yeah.
Rarely hear them, do you? That Petrol Emotion.
Oh, yeah.
That
yeah.
Petrol Emotion.
Yeah.
Who else we got on here? It says Robert Forster. Now, is he a musician or is it... I don't... Robert Forster, I don't know.
Well, if you know who Robert Forster is, I thought he was a writer.
The Lilac Time.
The Lilac Time.
They're on there as well.
You can't just say a name of a band and laugh.
You can if it's the Lilac Time.
Well, we were...
Did I tell you before that my friend and I once listed words we thought should be rude, but aren't, like cassock, we always thought.
Yeah,
and
bollards.
Bollards, and he always pointed out the blow monkeys,
Yeah.
which I always
That could be it could be a very rude word, but isn't.
It isn't. Okay,
That
that's
could be a
fine.
new feature, couldn't it? We're featured up, aren't we?
Aren't we? This is
We've
brilliant.
had
This
a
is
few- We've still got the film review to come. Song for Lovers is coming up in a few minutes.
song for the ladies.
Yeah, Song for the ladies. What else have
If
we
I can
got?
squeeze in a hip hop track, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, that's called our hip hop track bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's just
Do we have
amazing.
a classic song, Rick?
What were you thinking of?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe something by Nirvana.
Well, there's their biggest classic. You mean?
Ideally.
Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah. Now think about it, Steve. Is that so stupid?
Well, presumably it was set in olden times because professional pornographers don't tend to call it, erotic material.
Yeah.
They tend to call it, juicy jugs or whatever. But more than that, I don't understand how a video is going to be any use to a blind person either. I know that you can hear the sound, Carl. Look at you nodding like you caught me out.
Yeah, what sound were you here? Your meter needs looking at? Yes. Cut. What's then? What's that? Then it's just noises, isn't
Occasional
it?
groans.
Yeah.
Right.
You could listen through the wall at your neighbours.
He does.
I mean, that's why I save a lot of money. But I thought you were going to point out, Carl, that they could have had a Braille porno. Now, I haven't thought of that.
Look, feel the lumps on that.
Exactly. Think about it, Carl.
Think about it.
You're excited now.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend's away, Carl.
Yeah, the cheese grate has only entered the cupboard.
No, she's a good-looking lady.
Yeah.
104.9 XFM. Hello. I'm Carl. Ricky Gervais and Steve aren't here, so we're playing through some of the best bits. I say the best bits. It's the bits that came across first. I mean, I'm not wasting my time. I'm a busy man. You know what I mean? So here's another bit.
What do you make of the first genetically modified baby?
Oh.
Are you worried about this?
Do you know what did they do? What?
Let me see what it says here.
Well, isn't it just choosing the eye colour?
Well, this is the concern, isn't it? That in the future you'll be able to decide whether it's a boy or a girl, how intelligent it is, what it looks like, is it handsome, is it ugly? Obviously, no one will choose an ugly baby, and so on and so on and so on. And so it means that where will it lead? Where will it end, Carl? Are you concerned?
I've thought about this a lot.
What will us three look like in the future if they're being, genetically modified beautiful people? What will we be like? How will we be considered in society?
True, yeah. But we've talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, well, listen, right, because I remember when we, I was growing up on this estate.
This is going to be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right? It's a bit rough. All right.
Didn't fancy her.
Oh God, no. Right, but she had a baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. What was she?
It was a very.
Like a bit of man in a dress.
I mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything. And I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What does she look like?
But anyone can
Tattoos?
clean up.
Look like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make a place look nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry. Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did he get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
So you seen a horse in it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of...
Right?
Oh, that's great. Big Jake, I'm looking for it.
I'd been out.
Oh. So let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after.
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. All right then, but keep it out of the kitchen.
I don't want you going Catlin rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Carl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door, I can't stop!
I can't stop it. Open the patio door as well.
Looks like we got us a runaway. What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is, they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong of me. But I think...
He had a horse?
Yeah, right. So
that's why the family didn't have any money. They'd spend it on the horse.
No, I don't think, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway...
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Carl, in case they're listening.
Yeah. And
they could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well. Oh.
So I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round. And, and sort of go back to our house.
You had the traditional method of transport. Yeah.
And the horse was in the lounge.
Reading a paper.
Just like walking around.
Oh, God! What?
And when I was doing it, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What? This is
And I went-
genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this.
Wait a
Because the
minute,
story's
wait a
going to
minute.
just unravel and unravel. It's going to go on for hours. Let's
It
play a
gets
track,
deeper
Carl.
and deeper. It's
Yeah,
like
come
an
on, Carl.
onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I come from the West Country. I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet and it's got a rediffusion telly and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really...
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah.
Right, play a record. Let's have Velvet Underground. We've got that lined up.
Oh,
yeah, the
God.
classic from the first album. I'm Waiting for the Man. Let's come back to the horse in a second.
Little flowers in pots. What do you mean?
From that classic first album, Velvet Underground and Nico, which apparently peaked at a disappointing 171 in the US charts.
Think of that.
And that's obviously Lou Reed, the Velvet Underground, and Waiting for the Man.
Yeah, great track. So we were talking, we were doing White Van Man, and we got onto
We got on to genetically modified babies, but
and then
somehow
Carl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got onto, he was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers briefly.
Well, hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was.
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So the mother was a right pig, apparently. I don't know if that's
You don't
relevant.
need to go that far.
But
But
go
what
on.
I'm trying to do is like make a picture for you so you understand.
What did she
What a
look
picture
like?
it
Who
is.
did she look like?
Bit of a, and no disrespect to her, bit like Pauline Quirk,
Quirky, yeah.
right?
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. I knew it was going to be Pauline. Did she have any tats? Did she have any
I've
tattoos?
never got that close to her.
Okay, alright.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her
No,
husband?
her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse,
Yeah, from I don't know where. There was I think it was some stables down the road or something.
and they kept the horse in the house with
They
them.
kept it in the house.
Did
But
they
didn't
get
have it
caught?
for long.
No.
So, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse
No,
in
what
there.
happened was I was they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money, and they came out with all these ideas, and I thought that's good.
What was the charity?
Well, I don't know. I thought forget the charity.
Yeah, that's
I'm
just
the
a good
charity
money making
here.
idea.
So-
You're a charity.
So so I asked my mum for some because she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them, and I'll go and buy some plastic cups, and got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them,
Yeah.
got a tray,
Yeah.
had about 25 plants on it, selling
Yeah.
them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Distillery?
Yeah, so loads.
Did you just cut, you didn't just cut them and stick them in the
Yeah, they
soil?
wouldn't have survived. But I think people sort of thought, oh, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs, because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a bit rough. So as I went
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
so I got up to the door, and they opened the door, and it was one of them houses where no carpet,
Yeah. A horse in the living room.
You
We've all
know.
been there.
and the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything, because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty
right?
was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay, or in like a house with a
Central heating.
3-piece suite and a telly and that?
Telling you that!
No, but I was saying this the other day,
And an Atari.
right? I was walking through London. the
Commodore
other day.
64,
Yeah.
rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, I hope she looks after it." I said, "They've got that dog is happier than most dogs,
Right.
Because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open. It's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know what I
eat,
mean?
but other than that.
No, it does eat though. They're always all right. So that's what I was saying. I think this horse was doing all right for itself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
Well, anyway, that's
That's
what
by
we
the
were talking
by.
about. Yeah. So anyway, this family, it was a bit. What were we talking about? It was about cloning.
Genetically modified kids and all that stuff, yeah.
Right. Now, what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right? And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that,
Yeah.
right?
It could happen, Rick.
So,
Come on, work with him.
so you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do. They inject it with something or whatever.
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And get a little baby, and there it is. It looks the same. Now the thing is, you separate. You both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right. Now, you look at Stephen. This is you look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well. You give it good food and
I'm a
that,
good dad.
all the vitamins and stuff. Yeah. Ricky just gives it cheese. Right. So then it changes its looks. It goes a bit fat. You know, he gets tired easily and that sort of thing. Now, when this family,
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
right, this family who had a horse in their house,
Yeah.
they had a little baby, and my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby," right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know. And the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying, like, abusing it, but it used to run around, it used to play out till, like, 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit...
Did it have hooves?
No. Chase cars!
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh, God.
No.
Was it called Rover? Did it catch sticks?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly and its hair was all patchy...
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
and chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's how you brought up.
Brilliant. Wow. Life.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point. Oh, God.
But am I right?
Oh, you're always right, Carl.
Now, Carl, I know you're fascinated by the concept of the doppelganger, of seeing someone who looks exactly like you. Jake has emailed in. He says, Carl, if you could spend a day with an exact replica of you, okay, so somehow they've cloned you, Carl, and you've got him for one day, what would you do with this? What would you make him do? What conversation would you have with him? What would you do? Is there anything you could, how would you utilise him for one day?
Well, they'd both say, I'm not bothered, and that'd be the end of conversation.
What would do me head in is, does he think the same way, look the same way,
Exactly the
dresses?
same.
Yeah.
How would I know which one I was?
Because you'd be you.
That's amazing.
No, no, no.
How would I know which
That's
one I was?
incredible.
No, because-
that is the most stupid thing ever said by a human being. Can we get the Guinness Book of Records on this? Has anyone anywhere in the world said anything more stupid than how would I know which one was me?
But think about it, this other person's going, all right, thanks for meeting up and that. And I go, hang on a minute. No, you came to me. And then Suzanne would come home and she wouldn't know the difference. And then suddenly you'd start doubting yourself. And you go, should I be leaving? Or... So, how do I know if I am that real one, if he knows what I know?
But you know who you are because you're experiencing
But he'd
it.
be saying that because he'd say, yeah, it is a bit weird, isn't
But
it,
you
how
know
we're
the
meeting
truth, you idiot.
Because
How
you
would I
wouldn't-
know which one I was?
So anyway,
But bear in mind,
What would you do?
You could pass him off as yourself.
What would you do? Would you play tricks? Would you,
You could be in two places at once.
would you do stings? Would you do scams?
no, because it would only end up getting me into trouble, won't it? Because people won't believe that there's another one like me. Otherwise, everyone would be saying that when they get caught robbing. They go, oh, it wasn't me, it was me doppelganger. It can only... I wouldn't want it, to be honest. It's a bit of a headache, isn't it? Because he could be going off, going mental, causing all sorts of trouble, and you're going, will you pack it in? And he's going, what? What are you on about? But then that wouldn't happen, would it? Because he's being me, so he'd be sat wherever I am anyway. Because he'd want to do what I want to do. So, pointless. But I still wouldn't want it.
It's unbelievable.
That was a conversation with himself.
That was amazing.
That was like experiencing what it would be like if there was two Carls.
Yeah,
He's having a discussion with himself.
We could have left in that time and come back, and he'd be arguing still.
What does this mean? Does this mean though that I could just sit at home and not do anything and just send me out on...
Yes.
And when he's seen something happen, I'm seeing it.
No.
You're separate people.
You're separate people.
But then he's not a doppelganger then,
Well,
is he?
you're identical twins then. You found out identical twins and he's got exactly the same input as you. I mean, it's not a real question, is it? It's just a little... Again...
But I said to you the other week about twins and that, how I wouldn't like to have a twin. It's alright when you're a kid, but unless you're a Siamese twin, even they don't even look alike, do they? They're just stuck together. You don't go, oh, don't they look like each other? They have different haircuts. They don't carry that thing on, do they? That normal twins do. Like normal twins, the mums say have the same haircut, wear the same shirt. Siamese twins never look the same. They've just got their arse stuck together.
Again, it's a dialogue in his own head. It's unbelievable. Okay, Carl. This is a logical conundrum. to a certain extent. There's a little bit of lateral thinking because, but there is only one right answer. Now, the pressure here isn't to get this right. The pressure is when I've told you the answer to then understand it, because when I've explained this to people, I've laid out for them, they still can't quite get the concept. Okay, so there's 2 doors, Carl.
Yeah.
One leads to heaven, one leads to hell.
Yeah.
Okay, they're identical. You can't tell them apart. Okay, 50-50.
Right.
Obviously, you want to go to heaven, I assume. Right, there's 2 guards, identical guards, guarding each door. Okay?
Right.
The one guarding hell always tells a lie. The one guarding heaven always tells the truth. You have to ask one question to find out which is which, and then go through the door you want. What question do you ask?
I've only got one.
Yeah.
And what, one to both?
No, one to either of them. You don't know which one's which, though. So what question do you ask?
Why can't I ask, like, both of them one?
Because it's
Because
not the rules.
are you can only ask one. There aren't actually 2 doors labelled heaven and hell, Carl. This is a leap of imagination here.
And I've definitely got to answer. I've got to ask them a question. I can't just sort of have a feel of the door to see if there's any heat or anything.
They're identical. You stand a few yards away. You cannot tell from the outside of these doors which is which. What question do you ask?
I can't look through the keyhole or anything.
There's no
Get anywhere
keyhole.
near them. Let's imagine there's a small rope that prevents you from getting anywhere near, rather like outside a nightclub.
Yeah.
So they stood there.
Yeah.
They both look the same. They're both smiling,
Yeah.
but one of them's not really smiling. Really, he's trying to make me make a mistake, isn't he?
Well, he's just going to lie when you ask him a question. If you ask him.
So what's the point in asking a question? Do I know one of them's going to lie?
Yeah.
But would they be neighbours like this? Would they be that close? Why?
I mean, we're not sure if these 2 guys get on.
Because it's a logical. Right, I'll tell you the answer.
No,
And
no, no, I want to see if he can get it. He's almost there.
No,
No, he's not almost there. What am I thinking?
hang on. Right, so you go up and you
Yeah.
go. You
Right,
go,
hang on. Well, look, let's imagine that. Let's imagine Ricky and I are those 2 guys. Okay, right?
But we have to. Well, me and Steve will decide which doors we're guarding. Okay.
Right.
I'm.
Look away, Carl.
Okay.
Right,
then.
so we've decided. Okay, one of us is guarding hell and one of us is guarding heaven. Which question are you going to ask and who are you going to ask it to?
Right. I'll just say to you, Steve. I'll go. Got some post for God here.
That's not a question. That's a statement.
Right, you've got some posts for God here.
Well, that's not a question.
Yeah, but maybe the
Alright.
question's coming. You got some posts for God here, yeah.
And it needs to be signed.
It's not a question. Still not a question.
No, let
So
him finish. Maybe
is
it's a question.
God in? Because I need him to sign for this post. Is he in?
Well, I can answer that as well if you want.
Go on.
He's in. He's behind my door. Do you want to answer it?
Well,
Yes,
Do you,
he's
want,
in.
do you want to get him? Just
Well, no, you've only got one question.
So you're asking Steve, is God in? What's the answer?
Yes.
Ask me. Yes.
look, lads. I'm just trying to do a job here. What am I going to do with this?
Well, give it to me and I'll give it to God because he's behind my door. Steve?
Yeah, give it to me and I'll take it into God because he's behind my door.
You're an idiot. Let me tell you the answer. I'm guarding hell, by the way. I'm the devil. Steve's God, okay? So you asked me what Steve would say if you asked him what door he was guarding, and I'm going to lie. I know he'd say heaven because he'd tell the truth, but I'm lying, so he'd say hell. So the question is, if I was to ask the other one what door he was guarding, what would he say? And whatever the person answers is the door they're guarding.
Steve, what door are you looking after?
Well,
Heaven.
yeah.
Why should I believe you?
Because you don't know. No, that doesn't work. Because you asked me the same and I'd say heaven as well.
Right, so who do I believe? This is where you use your gut feeling, though, isn't it? This is what life's...
Well, as opposed to the pure logic that Ricky's just used.
I just think because there's a lot of questions in life where you don't know the answer and you go, do you know what? I don't like the look of him. So,
They're identical.
yeah, but they're still identical twins. You always get a little snidey one.
Well, Rick, you're not the only one who's been away. I know you've been off working, but
Yeah.
I, at long last, have taken a bit of leisure time.
Go on.
And you've probably heard of the Rio de Janeiro Carnival. Only one of the hottest, events in the world calendar.
yeah.
Imagine me down there.
Oh,
Rio,
God.
you can imagine, did not know what hit it.
Oh, God almighty. Imagine, were you like Paul the Party Animal Parker?
He would not have been able to keep up if he was with me.
God, what did you do? What did you get up to?
Oh, let me tell you right now. Day 1, I almost drowned. Day 2, I got a foot infection and spent the day in the hospital. And the rest of the time, I had diarrhea. So that was a hell of a time.
Carnival.
Yeah. I did. I was able to watch some of the carnival on TV, and
right.
it looked brilliant. It looked
Did it?
amazing. I didn't actually. It was difficult to make out because the TV wasn't actually in my room. Because in an effort to save money, I wasn't staying in a hotel. I was staying with a bunch of other people in some kind of, like, someone's flat that they'd let out. And so I had to watch the TV, like, from my window, watching a neighbour's TV. And of course, when they change the channel, often during the juicy bits, I couldn't see anything. And but it looked really good. I'm bunged up at the moment just so I can get through the show. But I've just been on a 12-hour flight, and it is terrifying being on a flight when you know that any moment you could go. Because the problem is sometimes the toilet's free, and sometimes you've got to queue up. And the worst bit is that sort of half an hour just before you land, when they say the toilets are out of bounds now. I tell you, I went twice before that in quick succession. The woman sat next to the toilet. She didn't know what was going on, the noises and stuff in there, and I was really panicky.
Oh, Christ.
And so of course then on the whole flight, as we're landing, I'm really petrified because I'm thinking I packed a pair of underpants and jeans in the bag in the holdall. Just in case it all went. And I was really, because I hate flying anyway, and I hate landing because it's the most terrifying moment of the journey. Then it really was rumbling, and I was thinking, I got to get out of here. Of course, you know when you're in a hurry, everything makes you angry. The little old lady in front of me who's just hobbling along off the gangplank, go away!
Yeah.
Just really annoyed.
With your bad hips and your bad
and
legs.
your Zimmer frame.
I know you've been through a war, but get out of my way!
Yeah. And just anyone who kind of even passes you, and so I managed to get there just in time, got into and it all went off. Man alive, it was grim. I was walking away from the show last week. I was walking towards Berry Street, like to look at the records and that, the record shops. And I was on my mobile phone, and I was chatting away to someone, and what can only be described as a prostitute.
Go on.
Stood on the street
Was
corner.
she a woman that gives you sex for money?
Yes.
That is a prostitute.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Go on.
And as I was walking by, she said, "Do you want to buy sex?" No,
You sure it wasn't a market trader giving 6 plums or
No, it was
something?
definitely
6 for a quid?
No, it was definitely
Go
a
on.
prostitute.
Yeah.
And what annoyed me about it, what I wanted to pick her up on something, was the fact that I was on my mobile phone. It's like, can you imagine?
rude.
Who would what, am I going to hang up? Sorry, Mum, can I call you back?
I've
You
just had an
know,
offer.
you say you want me to meet more women.
And you sent me that 30 quid
Exactly.
for my birthday.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Johnson, I'm really excited about the job. Can I call you back? I'm just going to negotiate with a whore. And it was just sort of, you could tell that she was clearly probably desperate for crack or a latest fix of smack. So she was literally the normal etiquette of prostitution. That they hang around, they show some thigh. I've seen this in
They
films.
will ya?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Take you out for a meal.
I
That sort of
know,
thing.
straight
That sort of
into
gone
it.
out of the window, and she
Yeah,
was just
sure.
there, desperate, running around
Did
the
she go out
streets.
of a window?
Like a
Because
zombie.
that's another thing they sometimes do, specialist
Exactly.
ones.
But I was
Yeah.
shocked because I've never been propositioned before like that
Really?
in London.
It's weird, isn't it? Carl, thoughts?
I think you'd be sort of approached a lot because they tend to sort of go for people who look like they haven't got much chance.
Sure.
And I'm not being mean.
No.
I've known
What do
you
you
a long
mean?
time.
Sorry, I'll let you go back to it. In what way aren't you being mean? By saying that Steve... go on.
Steve knows is a little bit odd looking.
I don't think... Well...
No, he does. Do you know
Yeah,
before...
no, but it's not what he thinks of his looks.
No.
It's what he thinks of you talking about his looks on...
No, but it's
on.
like how you were talking before about, your eyes are bad. It's nature's little way of saying, look, nothing to see here, right?
Don't get that!
I don't know what you mean.
But when you look in the mirror and that, they've gone, look, he hasn't got the looks, let's make his eyes bad, right?
Yeah.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying,
See,
they're balancing it out, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny, right? Now we're on the topic.
Sorry,
Right, I wasn't-
Johnny Depp.
Hey, listen,
I'm gonna... My chest is gonna burst at this moment.
Whenever we go
because-
into this conversation, I always think to myself, Carl, do you know what you look like?
I'm gonna.
You know, seriously, can I be honest with you? You look like, you know, if you've got like a balloon, a hot air balloon, right? Just a little balloon, like a party balloon. If you drew a little face on it, right, and inflated it about halfway, that's what you look like.
Right.
No, play a record. I don't want to get into this.
Listen,
It's too intense.
now you've got onto this. Let's just nip it in the bud now. I'll tell you something that I wasn't going to tell you because I think it was
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Right, it was on the tube. Right. Well, someone told me they were on the tube. Right. And the tube pulled into a station. Right. And one of the women saw the poster that's out at the moment with you and Rick on it. Right.
Yeah.
So this woman apparently goes, "Oh look, there's Ricky. Ricky's on the radio." Right. And the other woman goes, "Oh yeah, don't you listen to it?" So she goes, "Oh, I didn't know it was on the radio." And she goes, "Oh, look at."
Because he didn't sound this bad.
She said, "Oh, look at that person he's with." So she goes, "Yeah." She said, "That's Steve." She said, I was sort of aware that he looked odd because Carl mentions it on the radio.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as much of a blow to me, but I can see how it was a bit of a shock to you.
Yeah.
So that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that isn't me sort of telling this woman to say anything. That was all happened without anybody else sort of bringing it on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Was it? Sorry, you seem to be relishing this. Was it because of the little balloon story that made you?
I honestly, Steve, I wouldn't have told you, but if you're going to start, having a pop,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't just sit here and take it and that.
No.
I mean, all mates.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was
Share
mistaken
it,
for
yeah.
Johnny Vegas. Steve's got a story about that. If you want to have a go at me.
well, someone just thought you were fat with a beard, which is true.
Well, don't have a go at me because he said you look.
Well, you started it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
No,
you
I
did.
didn't.
You were milking it. You were
I
egging
was.
him
I
on.
was laughing.
You're egging him on.
I sort of was,
Yeah.
but let's not.
Oh, it's a good job you've got lots of good mates like Jonathan Ross you can go and hang out with. Don't need other friends, people who've helped you in your career.
He's good looking bloke, isn't he, Jonathan Ross?
He's a good-looking fella.
Out of time by Blur. Luckily, we're not out of time. Got another hour and 25 to go. So it's not over yet on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington.
We've had quite a lot of emails, as ever, Rick. I should just say, because
we're
we're very
It's a
lazy.
much listened to show.
We're very lazy people, and we rarely reply or read out the emails, but we
I
do
never read the emails,
Absolutely
so
never
I
read them.
rely. If I haven't replied to them, or my mail, well, Steve opens my mail and reads my emails. So if I haven't replied, it's just because he hasn't passed it on to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I haven't passed it on to you because I know you'll never reply.
Sure.
So, I'm just cutting out that. But I just want to say thanks for the emails. We do read some of them, and we do appreciate the fact people send in jokes.
Oh, I appreciate it. I love it.
But
We've
we've
not
had
have to do anything towards it.
sure, we had an email from Jack. He just said he missed the last 2 weeks' shows. Has he missed anything?
Not really.
No.
No, it's the same stuff.
Same
You missed, I
old
think last week Carl was having a go at Chinese people not aging well. He had a go at the gays, and he came up with a ludicrous story about a monkey that was impossible.
Yeah,
so I don't think Jack's missed much. Go on.
No. We've just had an email from the Pringles people.
Oh, right. Good, because it's finally started to happen. I hear these stories about people getting given cars and Armani suits and trips abroad, and we haven't had none, but finally people are starting to, realise what we're doing, our impact on society,
Yeah.
and we've got a whole box of Pringles sent to us. Not all those little tubes, the proper tubes, the foot-long tubes.
Yeah.
So, and well, what have they said?
Well, the Pringles
They
guys
want
have
them
said,
back.
No, they've said they like the show, and if you want more Pringles, give them a call and they'll
I
send you
want
more
more
Pringles.
Pringles.
Yeah.
I bloody love Pringles.
Yeah.
Pringles are. The thing about Pringles is, they're Moorish, right?
Yeah.
But how would I put it? You know the sort of thing when I open them.
Yeah.
And by that when I pop.
Right.
Yeah. I have to eat. Well, no, okay. How can I put this? When I pop, I can't stop.
What do you mean? I don't.
Well, when I pop them open, I can't stop eating them.
Right.
Open.
When you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's because of the chemicals. I think that might be the reason.
But they're good chemicals.
They're good chemicals. They're the best chemicals.
Pringle chemicals.
They're not bad chemicals. Like
Lovely.
you're using chemical
So
warfare.
yes, I want some more Pringles.
Yeah, so
what else do they
more
do?
Pringles. It's interesting actually you were saying that like other people, like Kylie I imagine would get given sort of maybe sexy underwear. You got Robbie Williams where he gets the Armani suits. You get sent the crisps. If she was appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but it's nice to be sent. Isn't it? Go on.
talking of Pringles, on the Finchley Road tube station, on the way in.
There's a lot of Pringles there, isn't there?
Well, I'll tell you a job I don't like.
What?
I wouldn't want to be doing. The woman, there's a little woman who sits in the little snack stall on Finchley Road.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to describe it really. She is surrounded by snacks. She can't move for snacks.
It's like American Beauty, but with different.
Not dissimilar to that.
Yeah.
It's a little hut on the station, and it's like if you go to the seaside, you can put your head through one of those cardboard cutouts, and it looks like you're a big fat person or whatever, and you can have your photo taken. It's like an equivalent of that, but it's just snacks everywhere. She's got bananas up to her chin. She's got chocolate coming down to her eyes, crisps either side of her. She can't move. She can't do 360 degrees. She's like packed in there. I don't know how she gets in there.
I think they put her in there first, and pour in the bananas.
Yeah.
And then they go pour in the nuts.
She has 2 hours of makeup before they
exactly,
resting her in there. Because I'll ask for something from the fridge, and she cannot turn her head to see. She has to go by feel alone, just to feel the fridge, and get stuff out and pass it. And often I'll say, that's not what I wanted, but she can't. You've got to let her off. It's extraordinary.
Dear.
But there's no music playing.
Does she have to sell her way out of it?
Exactly.
If it's a slow day, she's stuck there till the next day.
Yeah, it's like a world-breaking attempt.
Yeah. Oh dear. That's Finchley Road, so if you
if you're on Finchley Road or just want to pop down there, have a look at the snack woman, because it is, it's
how
always
does she
amusing.
get refills though?
I don't know how it works. I don't know how she goes to the toilet or eats. I don't know what she does.
Yeah.
But God bless her.
That's one of the jobs you wouldn't
That's
have.
jobs I would not like.
I've always worried about working in one of those big photocopying places.
Sure.
Because it's just that constant taste of toner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so dry, and I just imagine going to work with a hangover.
Yeah.
8 hours in that sort of
I think it's those jobs where what's the best that can happen that day. Do you know what I mean? The photocopying shop. What's the best?
Well, they probably have interesting things, like people going in and photocopying.
Porno mags.
Can I have 30 copies of my art?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I couldn't make it to the staff party.
Yeah,
But I wonder if I could do that in here.
Yeah.
Carl, what job wouldn't you want to do? Well, any job. You're a lazy.
You're joking, aren't you?
Well-
I've done loads of stuff. I'm quite happy now doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. You look happy.
Trying to think.
You sound happy.
Yeah, I mean, calm down. You on drugs?
I'm alright.
Are you on E?
Before England have won and that. I'm
What?
happy for them.
Yeah, go on, happy for them.
I'm happy in that.
Yeah, what do you mean happy for them? We are England. Happy for us. Yeah. I mean, we didn't play. I did very little towards it.
No.
It was mainly Johnny Wilkinson.
Yeah, I barely contributed. Switching on the TV was about as much as I did.
Exactly. And shouting, come on! Yeah.